Dan Berglund. Welcome. Bugge and Henrik, you've been working together for quite some years now, but with Dan, it's now a whole new thing. I think you've played together for a year or so now, but now there's an album coming up. So can you explain how you got together and why?
As a trio, you mean?
Yes, as a trio.
Ensemble. Well, I think it was, we talked about to expand our duo. And we both had a big admiration for a long time for Dan. I thought he was a wonderful bass player, and felt really natural in the end to ask him. I think I was the one who proposed you, was it?
Yeah, that's right.
And what was your answer?
Answer?
What did, I mean, did you know Henrik's music at all?
No,
And
we never.
Do you want this duo as your...
as your trio?
No, I never. No, we never met before, and I didn't know anything about Henrik. But of course, Bugge, we met several times, and I'm listening to him a lot. And so I said no. No, I said yes.
but why did you say yes?
Yeah, well,
money.
No, of course, I always like to play with Bugge, and he's a fantastic piano player. So that was my first thought. Okay, of course I want to play with Bugge. And Bugge told me about Henrik and explained his personality and and everything. What he's.
You still came.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It was only a good thing.
I get, I get curious about this thing, and I'm really happy that I say yes.
And you were saying that you wanted to expand the format, that it's not just any longer a duo. But why? Did you have the feeling that you've already said everything that you have to say as a duo, or?
No, it was just a feeling. I mean, we were doing many things, and we were trying out many things that was always a part of our work. By just throwing stuff into one place and see what's happening. And so one of the ideas was to expand and see what happens. So it was kind of a natural development. Yeah.
In the beginning, we also tried out with the percussion and drums. But I think in the end, I think this is, to me, it's a modern piano trio in a way, because it's piano, there's bass, and there's laptop instead of the drums that does all the rhythms and the sound effects. And I think it's a wonderful mix to me of organic acoustic sound mixed with live treated sounds and electronic beats, which I love very, very much. So I think it still feels very organic to play. Really.
And so bass for you, it felt more natural to work together with a bass player than, for example, instead of a drummer?
Kind of, yes, because Henrik is a very rhythmic person. He comes from rhythmic music, so he really takes care of all that rhythmic part in an incredible way. I think that you could never do with a drummer in a way. So.
I mean, one thing that you share as musicians is that I think neither of you is really a purist as a musician, but you come from quite different backgrounds. I mean, you two, Dan and Bugge, are known mostly in the field of jazz, though I mean quite open, and Henrik with house music. But can you maybe share to us what your main inspirations were, or what kind of music you've been exposed as teenagers, or when you really formed your music tastes? Can you each describe?
Sure, who's going to start?
You.
How much time do we have?
30 seconds.
Okay. Well, my father is a jazz guitarist. So naturally, I grew up listening to jazz music and American R&B, soul, Jimmy Smith, Tamla Motown music. Then I discovered the European ECM stuff and the Nordic jazz, Jan Garbarek, when I was around 12. I went through punk, and I think basically '82 was a major change. I discovered Kraftwerk, Tangerine Dream, Thomas Dolby, that kind of stuff, and was really drawn to that sound, which has been with me ever since. That mix of sound is very important. That's also this trio. I have this mix of the electronic sounds with the acoustic sounds. I think that's really fascinating to me.
And Dan?
Well, the first band I really liked was Creedence Clearwater Revival. And, well, then I listened a lot to rock music from the 70s, like Black Sabbath and Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, and also, Sweet, Slade, Motte Hoople, all kinds of stuff. And later also I listened a lot to 10cc, it's a favorite group, Supertramp, Rush.
So it's surprising that you ended up doing jazz music.
Yeah. Can't understand it. I don't know. No, actually it was, when I heard, first time I heard Weather Report, then I was like, oh shit, there's more music out there. So then I started to dig deeper into that world. And
I could imagine that Weather Report is something you could all agree on.
Sure.
Okay, and Henrik, what have you been?
Well, as a kid, I also liked Creedence Clearwater Revival. I find that very interesting. But
Just not say Smokey, please.
no.
the first music that I actually bought was rap that came to Europe, and that was completely new. And so through rap, I discovered, or I wanted to find out what were the samples they were using, and this is how I came to jazz. And so I was after all those old jazz records that had been sampled by rap and hip hop artists, and then for me the major change was when I heard Jeff Mills play for the first time. When I was so hit by the electronic world, where I suddenly had I had the feeling this is what I want to do, and it opened up everything, and so I went through all that hard techno and back, and so yeah, there's many things I love to listen to.
So now you're back to Creedence again.
In a way, yeah.
I mean, you as a trio, you are by no means the first people to explore like a fusion of electronic or electronic dance music and jazz music. But still today, in most cases where someone with a background from electronic dance music comes together with someone from the world of jazz music, what happens is that you have a kind of programmed beat, and then the jazz musicians improvise to this beat. With you, it almost seems the other way around.
It's true, it's the way, because of both the combination of modern technology and Henrik as a very versatile person. We can start from what we play, and he can build stuff live, build the groove, build stuff live from the scratch, from the music. So we don't have to start with the beat. And that, I think, is the fascinating thing, both with technology and working with Henrik, that it's possible to actually. I mean, I see a laptop as an instrument today. Absolutely, you can use it. It's a full instrument, and it only depends on the skills of the guy who's running it.
Henrik, would it be right to say that, like, starting with a beat and then just have someone improvise, it's like a kind of taboo for this group?
I don't know if it's taboo for them, but for me it's taboo. I find it the most horrible thing you can do. There was a time in house music when this got really, really big, like beats and some saxophone player or percussion. It was good for a short period of time, but then it got really, really horrible. And I think that's also not what we are after. Or I'm after, at least. For me, I'm trying to turn the computer into an instrument. And I would say since maybe 3-4 years, it's getting kind of serious, where you can really improvise. So there's software out there that really makes you fast. I think that's what it's all about, being fast. Because for them, they touch their key or the string and they have a sound. And I want to be in the same position, but the sound would be a different one, of course. And so still now, I might touch a key and it takes a little while till the sound comes out. I mean, what I was looking for, but it's so much faster than a couple of years before. And so that makes it possible now to really play. And that's completely different perspective than playing a beat and putting something over it. That's not what we do.
I mean, Bugge and Dan, with you, I mean, for yourself and for the audience, what you're doing is pretty obvious in the way that you're pressing some keys and you're playing some strings. But when you consider the computer an instrument, I mean, this is an instrument that you can do an unlimited amount of things with. So, Henrik, can you just briefly explain, or as an example, maybe of the song we've just heard, Movement 17, how a song takes its life and how you react to what you hear?
It very often starts by them playing, improvising, and I have my 2 recorders running where I record Bugge and Dan at the same time, and of course the laptop is already running at a certain speed, but it might be a different speed than what they play. And so when I hear something from their playing that I have the feeling this could be something, then I grab it and I drop it into the speed that I'm having, and then I throw it back at them. And so if everything goes right, which happens sometimes, but not very often, then we have an interesting new line, and they listen, and then they start to jam with this new line that might be rhythmically completely different than before, or might be pitched into some other place, or maybe runs backwards, or like 1,000 possibilities, and then something starts.
And then you've pre-selected certain sounds or certain rhythms that you add to it?
No, it's all made in real time, and so it can be some hit on the chair or on the table that I'm recording, and then I make a beat out of it, or just from the noise that comes from the room, because when we all play together, there's always something going on, and if you have the microphone open, you get all those crackles, and so that makes the beat in the end.
Yeah, I think it's amazing when we done some concert and we play, and I play something, and after 10 seconds I hear that in a different pitch, or did I play that? I recognize that. It's amazing. It's fantastic.
And Dan, you're especially known for your work in the trio EST, and with that trio, you've already worked with electronics. And Bugge, I mean, over the years you've done tons of stuff with electronic music. So what's the difference in this format, how electronic music is used, or electronic instruments?
Well, for me it's quite big difference, because in EST we only use like the like a guitar player use, like pedals, like distortion, wah-wah,
effects.
and effects. But we never used a computer, so this is new for me.
And for you, Bugge?
Well, I've been doing it since, back in '96, I had a guy called Jan Bang in my group. He's the Punkt Festival guy. And he made a thing out of live resampling, like live sampling. So to me, the biggest, of course, difference is Henrik and his personality and his taste in music, which create this music that I like very much, this kind of organic sound. So this is the biggest difference, I suppose.
And I mean, you also have lots of projects going on outside of this group. And I think in each of these other groups, each of you is a kind of leader of the group.
I suppose, yes. I mean,
so how does it work when the three of you work together? Is there like one leader in the group?
Yes, me, I guess. I think we are very equal. I mean, most of us, we record every concert. What we do is we start kind of free, and these concert recordings, we listen to it afterwards and we pick out the parts we like and we do something on with it. But of course, I agree that it has to be, if not a leader, but one who would master the decision. So in this group, I would say it's Henrik. I mean, you'd been doing the editing and the arranging of the album. And we did endless hours of live recordings at the wonderful Schloss Elmau. And out of that, Henrik chose kind of stuff, and we listened to it, and we chose the stuff that we like most, and then he edited it as the kind of the master brain. So I would say you're the master brain of this trio.
Yeah, I agree.
We're right under there somewhere.
Okay. You recorded your upcoming album at a place that at least I would normally associate with experimental music, and that was at the Castle Almau in Bavaria, which is the place where the next G8 summit is going to take place. How did it come that you recorded the album right there in this castle?
Well, I think, have you been there before?
No.
No.
I was the one who has
We have been there a lot.
Yeah.
Huh.
Me and Bugge, not together, but we've been there lots of times. Maybe I've been there 10 times. Maybe?
As hotel guests, enjoying your life.
Yeah,
They
it's
have a
fantastic.
wonderful culture program, basically.
Yeah.
They spend efforts into presenting good culture, music and arts. So they have every week there's 2 or 3 concerts. So, and then instead of our normal enormous fees, we get to stay for 3-4 days, enjoy fantastic food, and having a very good time.
And so you were asked to play a concert there and thought, okay, while we're there, we could also just...
Actually, we asked this time if we could come and record and then do a concert at the end, which was okay for them. So I'm very happy with that.
Mm-hmm. And on the album, I think it seems to me that often the album is the piano is starting something, and then the rest follows. And the electronics, it's very restrained. There's no bass drum at all. Is that the right impression?
This time the electronic is maybe a bit more, how would I say? There was a very rough energy in the electronic and the piano on our first album, and the idea of the second one was to get things more under control, and this is what we probably did. And for me, we are always searching for a balance, and so there's none of the instruments should be ahead of the others. Maybe for a little time, but we all agree that. For example, a grand piano sounds even more beautiful if you add a digital noise to it. So both of the sounds get more beautiful. Yeah, the digital noise sounds more beautiful with the piano and the other way around. And it's the same with the bass. And so this is how we approach the pieces and the sound, to just get that right balance. So everything is helping each other. So,
And I mean, probably in every genre of music, but I've got the feeling in jazz especially, it must be really difficult to find your own language as a musician, because there's such a big tradition. To come up with something that's distinctively your own, it must be quite difficult. Do you find it easier if you get together, like in this group, with people who have different backgrounds and maybe come even from different genres to create something new?
It's probably true. I mean, most new things, nothing new comes from nothing. I mean, mostly every new thing that comes along comes from a mixture of old ideas and elements. So I think this is a very good way of trying to create something new. So it's at least been and as he said, this mixture of the acoustic and the electronic sounds. I'm very into silo sounds, and I think this is a wonderful combination and a fresh sound. Obviously, because laptop is a new tool in music, but this creates a new sound, a fresh way of thinking music, which I think is incredible, really.
but also in the way how we play it, I think. There's one track on the album, Round Midnight, by The Loneliest Monk, and I really wanted to have a standard, a jazz standard on the album, to show how would we play it. And we were discussing a lot about the concept of how would we play a standard that is unique. Because there's hundreds and hundreds of versions of this piece out there, and there's a few that really stand out. And so we were asking ourselves, so how would our version sound like? What would it be? And this has been, for me at least, a very important track on the album, because we played only what was really necessary, and I think we found a nice combination. And for me, this is our sound, and we can hear what we do.
And Bugge, you at least, you've always emphasized that at heart that you're someone who likes to improvise with music, and you don't really like to repeat yourself. So once this album is out and you're going to perform, I assume that you're somehow going to perform the songs of the album. Is this like a contradiction for you?
It's always been a discussion. But it's...
What's the discussion?
No, whether to stick to a plan or to do new things. But out of our recordings, I think there's always very interesting moments when we do a concert, free moments. But this in combination with how do I explain this? What we do on the album is not really compositions. It's more like flow, but it's a frame of sounds and a little melody. But when we come with the melody, or exactly when the beat will come in, that can differ from time to time. So that is to try to capture the level of energy that is between us and with the audience, and just to try to capture that is what I love with improvised music. I see it as a unique art form in the sense that it's one of maybe the almost only art form where the listener, the audience, are exposed to something that's happening right there, and it's not prepared or anything. And I think I love that. That's why I'm very proud to call myself a jazz musician.
Okay. Do you have anything to add?
No, I agree upon that. For me, it's very important to make. You don't have to make new things and invent new things every night, but it's really important to have that freedom to do it if you want, and otherwise I get bored.
But Henrik, as someone coming from a house, you also must love repetition.
I love repetition, but more in a smaller unit, of course. So I think maybe I wouldn't be a good pop musician that they are playing exactly the same piece every night, again and again and again.
Or classical.
I agree with Bugge now. I mean, it has been a discussion with us since the very start. How much freedom should be there? And so I strongly believe that if there's I would call it a concept, Bugge said it's a frame or something. If there's a strong concept for a piece, you can be very free, even more free if there's no concept. Because if there's no concept, then you can get lost, even if this is something we also like doing, we might just say we play a piece now, also on stage, where we just start playing, and we don't know what's going to happen, not at all. This is something we like doing because that's how we create new pieces, because sometimes we find something really nice. But I believe that with this new material we have, the frame probably got a bit stronger, and I hope that we can play even freer than before. So let's see what happens.
But you need a core to break. If everything is free, it's impossible. So you need something to be free of, So it's there's nothing such thing as a completely free thing. Okay. You need a frame.
Bugge, Dan, Henrik, that's it for me. Thank you. But if any of you have questions, please raise your hand and the microphone will come to you.
Thank you. My question is actually, is there a central, because I must admit I haven't heard it yet, is there a central theme to Trialogue that makes it a necessity to have it published as an album, actually? Or would you be open to say in the future, probably as well, if there isn't one, to release single songs whenever they're ready, basically? I mean, with the modern technology, that's probably easy to do. What would you say?
It's a very interesting question, really. which I thought a lot about because, for example, Manfred Eicher at ECM, he only wants to present albums. He says that is his format. But if you look at music historically, it's always been reluctant on the format it's done. I mean, it started with singles, then it was possible to make an LP, then came the cassette, then came the CD, even longer. And now with, again, digital distribution, people tend to listen to tracks again. And so I think that will basically in itself define the future of music. And I think more and more artists will tend to do, also because probably it will be too expensive to record a full album, because people, which is in one way a pity. I mean, my youth was buying a vinyl, open it up and read the artwork while I was turning the page. And I was, me and my friend, we were quiet for double albums. You could be quiet for 1.5 hours. Yeah. So, but those times have changed, and it doesn't necessarily have to be for bad. It can also be good, and it will, whether you want it or not, it will change music, and it can be also very interesting. It can refresh your mind, make you think different.
I think also that an album is still today a very strong statement compared to a single. I mean, singles you can do, and as I'm anyway a person that I like when music also lays there for a while like a good wine, and then I leave it there for half a year, and then I listen again, and just to find out, is this still good today? And so if you do that for a while, then you might have a collection of songs that make sense as an album, and also you wouldn't be able to do a promotion, or you wouldn't be able to do a proper cover, and that's all stuff that, for me, because I also come from a time when you bought vinyl records, I don't know if that's the problem, but I like to do that, put it in a proper sleeve, or make an artwork, have discussions, because there's many people involved. If you do an album, if you do a single, this is something you can, of course you can do it, and there might be, I'm sure we also will do pieces where we say, yeah, this can be a single, we just release it. But this, then I think that would be something that I probably wouldn't even want to sell, then just give it away. Yeah, and that would be okay in a way.
Yeah, I just need to say one more, because I really always hated hits, this kind of 3-minute long radio, made for the radio thing. So, but one thing I would like to explore is the possibility of make long tracks, like a 12-minute one thing. Mm-hmm. That was what I love about electronic music. When I started to buy 12 inches and stuff, 15, 16 minutes long tracks, fantastic. Because you need time to get into a mood. To listen to a song for 3 minutes, it's just stupid, to be honest. Sorry.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Then thank you all for coming, and thank you, Bugge, Dan, and Henrik.
Thank you.
Thank you.